I'm going to go ahead and record this class. We're recording it right now. But like I say, we're going to talk about just the power of flowers. We're going to talk about the power of smell. And I know that there was a class, I don't know, a couple months ago that I did all about olfaction and the sense of smell. So we're going to talk a little bit about olfaction, because I believe that flowers and olfaction, definitely go hand in hand. So anyway, without further ado, we will go ahead and jump right in. All right, so here's a question. How would you describe the smell of a rose? Just think about it for just a second. How would you describe that smell? So just imagine you're this lady and you're in this, this beautiful field of roses, which would be a great place to be right about now. Just say you're in this beautiful place and you're smelling the flowers. How would you describe the smell of a rose? I thought that was a very interesting question. And it's something that, we definitely, we got to think about that for a second, right? If you were to describe what a rose smells like, it's going to take you a little bit, right? Tyra, would you mind muting yourself? Thanks. I'm not sure if I muted everybody, but I just hid my meeting controls. Hang on, I'll just go ahead and mute everybody. Okay, so once again, the idea of smell, I'm going to repeat this just for Tyra's sake, because I just think that this question is just, it's so simple that it's pretty amazing. If somebody were to ask you, what does a rose smell like? What would you say? Because oftentimes we describe things from the smell of other things, right? So, with any flower, in other words, you can't really put your finger on the smells, right? It's very, very difficult. Well, it's kind of like, it's this, that, or that. Well, if somebody were to ask me, these were some of the definitions that I came up, right? Well, what does a rose smell like? Well, it smells pretty. It smells like love. It smells like nature. It's sunshine, or it's cheerful, right? It smells like happiness. If I were to think of what smell would you put on happiness, might be the smell of a rose, right? Or the smell of a flower. A flower smells like joy. It smells like fresh air, right? There's all these, adjectives that we would put on, the smell of a flower. I just thought it was kind of interesting to just kind of think about that for a minute. So smell is the mute sense. It's the one without words. It's very difficult. You can't say cold or hot or hard or soft or any of those things. It's very difficult to put a smell into words. But one thing that we do know is that we've been given the sense of smell for one reason, is because it brings a lot of joy to our lives. When we surround ourselves with nice smelling things, it brings a lot of joy to our lives, right? There are smells put in so many things and we don't even realize it, right? I mean, just about everything has a smell, right? Flowers, fresh cut grass, trees have smells, right? There are all of these smells all around us, and they actually bring a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure. This world would be very boring without smell. So our sense of smell is important to our overall health and nutrition, since if your sense of smell is diminished in any way, it can lead to poor appetite. It can lead to malnutrition, especially with older folks. An altered sense of smell can pose other health-related problems, such as if you have anosmia, okay, you can accidentally consume soured or rancid foods because they're unable to detect the odors that signal spoilage. How many times have you maybe opened up maybe a jug of milk and smelled it before you drank it? How many times, I do this a lot with cheese. How many times have you opened up maybe a bag of cheese and you smell the cheese? What are you smelling? What is it that you're looking for? You're looking for something that's just off. And our nose can pick it up very quickly. Maybe you open up maybe a package of meat and you smell something immediately. And then, what do? You start sniffing it a little bit more, right? Because you don't want to eat this meat or feed it to your family if it's no good, right? And so our sense of smell is very, very important for many, many reasons, okay? So you can also be unaware maybe that you're breathing in something that's toxic, polluted, right? Maybe the air is smoke filled, right? Our sense of smell is so very important. So the link between our sense of smell and our emotions, we're going to talk about this today. So this was, actually it took me a few minutes to put this slide together and I'm still not very happy with it, but why is the sense of smell so powerful? The sense of smell and our brain and your brain's association with it determine how your body responds. In other words, we respond to the sense of smell and to different smells. You respond differently, okay? You might walk into maybe into a store and you're smelling some, some beautiful smells. Maybe there's bread baking in the bakery, and what does it do, right? It makes you want some of that bread, right? But with all the other senses, you think before you respond. But with scent, your brain responds before you even think. And might I just add that it gives you the thoughts to think, right? Based upon whatever the smell, it actually instigates certain types of thoughts, okay? It could be a happy thought. It could be a sad thought. It could be maybe a memory of maybe your grandmother's house or your grandfather's cologne or whatever it might be. It triggers these memories, and it's actually very amazing just how close that link is. It's directly connected to the emotional and memory centers of the brain, the sense of smell. So I thought it was, just very interesting. And the more that I was putting this PowerPoint together, the more that I wanted to put this PowerPoint together, and I had way too much content. I had to actually delete a lot of content just to keep the to keep the time limit more reasonable. But nothing is more memorable than a smell. The other day, me and my daughter and a couple of my grandkids, this was the first time I'd been to a mall in years. I could care less about going to a mall. I remember doing it, as mom. I would take my kids to the mall, maybe we might have to, get some clothes or whatever. And we were at the Mall of Georgia, and we were walking, and it's almost like you're making a beeline for the food court for some reason. I don't know, but there was a smell, and I was like, whatever this smell is, I want it. I couldn't make out what the smell was, right? And so we went, we went into the food court, we got some food, whatever, and but I just thought it was just so interesting, just of course, because I was thinking about this class anyway, was how that smell was. It was literally like pulling me into a direction. I thought it was pretty interesting that it wasn't like there was a physical thing, that it was more of like some type of an emotional thing, that there was a smell that I remembered a smell, and I remembered that it, whatever, it brought back good memories or something, but I couldn't really put my finger on it. I just thought it was pretty interesting. Now, the sense of smell is the most advanced of all of the 5 senses present in babies at the time of birth. Unlike eyesight, hearing, or touch that requires time, the sense of smell is developed right at the time when infants are in the womb. It's first of all through smell that a child recognizes their mother. He or she also quickly recognizes the smell of food or maybe a fruit or something like that. But there's also evidence to suggest that pleasant smells can actually boost the immune system, relieve stress, and induce sleep. Now, I mean, I have no doubt at all that that would, be true, because I know, certain smells you would maybe put in your diffuser or put on your pillow or whatever to help to sleep. If you maybe somebody that has problems sleeping, lavender or vetiver or cedar wood or frankincense, there's some smells that actually help your mind just kind of slow down and shut off, which is oftentimes the reason that people do have problems sleeping. But back to babies, their eyesight, not very good. They can only focus about, 8 to 10 inches. They usually say it's, from when you're holding your baby in your lap to your face, that's about as far as the baby can see, but they can smell much further. Okay. Now, why would that be? Right? A number of studies also show that the tiniest newborn babies recognize their mothers just by the smell. So I just think it's pretty fascinating to kind of look into some of these things, because they do a lot of studies on this. And it's like, well, how can you study smell? I mean, how can you do that? I would think it would be a very, very difficult thing, but they're looking for brain activity, right? To certain stimuli, certain smells that are actually being introduced, and then the brain activity in response to that particular smell. So studies conducted at the Human Emotions Laboratory at Rutgers found that when we smell floral scents, such as roses or lavender, it makes us happy. Hence, remember the question that I asked at the beginning is, if you could describe the smell of a rose, how would you describe it? Well, I think I put down happy, right? Why? Because it makes, the smell of it makes you happy, right? So whenever you want to know why, why you love flowers so much, well, they make us happy. They just do, right? So in fact, people who smelled floral scents during those studies reported 3 times as many happy thoughts than before smelling the flowers. So basically, if you want to alter your thinking, just have some flowers on hand, or you can do something even better. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but I wanted to, whoops, I am so sorry. I wanted to talk about a dog. All right. Now, I particularly, when I was putting this, I was searching for a hound dog, right? And I went through a number of different pictures of hound dogs, and I found this one. I thought, oh, he's the best, right? I mean, this is a perfect depiction of a hound dog, right? Nose to the ground, and he's on his way, right? He's looking for whether it's the fox or whatever. I just read that Fox and the Hound to my grandkids the other day. So it kind of got me thinking, that's what a hound dog is there for, right? They're there to smell, to track a scent, and they go with it. And the hunter is usually not far behind, right? Just letting him do his thing, right? But why is that? Why is it that dogs are always sniffing? Always sniffing. And sometimes it bothers us, right? They're sniffing on our legs, they're sniffing on our feet. They got to smell everything. There's a reason behind that. It's because of how complex the sense of smell is for dogs, right? Typically animals, in general, but we've got a pretty keen sense of smell, but animals much more so, right? So dogs and animals, their noses are structured differently. Okay. Now dogs in particular, they have a different method of breathing than we do. For example, each of a dog's nostrils contains separate openings for breathing in and out, and they also operate independently, meaning that they can pick up an array of smells that are coming from different directions. Additionally, humans don't tend to walk around with their noses to the ground, and dogs will deeply investigate every smell they encounter with numerous sniffs. In fact, a dog can sniff at least 5 to 6 times per second. Now, I am a dog walker, okay? I walk dogs. I get paid to walk dogs. I get paid to watch dogs. I love dogs, absolutely. When you're walking a dog and you're in a hurry, oftentimes you are very keen to how many times that dog stops to sniff, right? Because it's like, would you just come on? You know, I'm taking you for a walk and you just want to sniff everywhere. Everything is like, what is this thing that you're sniffing, right? The reason that they do that is because they have got an incredible keen sense of smell, right? They're smelling things that we can't smell, right? And so, you know, whereas we'd be content to, you know, smell a flower, well, they're smelling something that maybe they said smells, maybe they think it smells as good as the flower. I don't know, but with our nose, and I know especially, you know, everybody knows somebody who might have had COVID or whatever. One person that I knew, she had it, and that was one of the things that she said pretty much her only symptom of it was that she couldn't smell. So if a nose is in less than tip-top condition, it can actually affect the way that you taste your food. And so researchers, they say 80% of the flavors we taste come from what we smell. So that is really important, right? 80% of what you're tasting is actually what you're smelling. So yes, we have taste buds. Taste buds are there for a reason, but a lot of what we taste is actually what we're smelling. So anyway, that's why, you know, when you're all stopped up or whatever, you can't taste as well. I just thought it was very interesting, right? So here again, here are these smells that, you know, freshly baked cookies or freshly baked bread. I mean, these are just incredible motivational foods, right? You smell some fresh baked cookies and oh my goodness, if you're on a diet, you are in agony, right? And same thing with bread. I mean, it's just, you know, it just draws you to, you know, maybe the bakery or whatever. So we are not going to talk about olfaction anymore. We are going to talk about how flowers have changed the world. Okay. Now, when you think about the perfume industry, you got to think about flowers, right? Because flowers continue every single year to be some of the best selling perfumes, right? Now, back when I was younger, I didn't care so much for the floral perfumes. I like more fruity. But for some reason, as I'm getting older, florals are just becoming more and more attractive to me. Look at this. Look at the global perfume market, value of that market. That is incredible. $31.4 billion in 2018. That is incredible. That's really, really big. $31.4 billion. And it's expected to continue to go up. Okay, why is that? It's because people just love perfume, right? They love smelling nice smelling things. It's so incredible. Everywhere matter of fact, it's really, really funny. The other day, me and my daughter were at the grocery store and she was like, Mom, you got to try this hair product. She said, it's a new hair product. I think it was like Aunt Jackie's or something like that. We all have curly hair, so we're always getting some kind of product, right? And so what the first thing that I wanted to do is open it up and smell it. Why? Why is it that you got to smell? And I would not have bought it if it didn't smell good. I don't care how good it is for my hair. I would not have bought it if it didn't smell good. Why is that? Why do we want that? The smell is so important to us. And I know I'm not alone. I know other people are doing the same thing. You gotta smell it. In fact, sometimes I'll open it up and it'll have one of those safety, and I'm like, oh man, I can't. So, you know, you're trying to smell it through the, you know, through the little thing, but it's, you know, we want to smell. So how flowers have changed the world. I want to talk just a little bit about doTERRA. Okay. And I want to talk about how doTERRA has changed the world. Now, when you think about doTERRA, you think about essential oils, you think about nice smelling things and all of that. But another thing that I want everybody to understand is when you think about doTERRA, I want you to think about more than just essential oils, because doTERRA is more than just an essential oil company. doTERRA is seeking to change the world in a very, very positive way with the help of the essential oils. Okay, so it's something called co-impact sourcing, and then also healing hands. These are two things that every time you make a purchase through doTERRA, you are also supporting. So what is this co-impact sourcing? It's an initiative that seeks to develop long-term mutually beneficial supplier partnerships while creating sustainable jobs and providing reliable income in underdeveloped areas. Okay, so doTERRA has got these commitments, and one of them is ethical treatment, providing on-time payments, fair prices, right? And so doTERRA has these co-impact sourcing initiatives throughout the world. Okay, now you look at this map of the world and you look up at the top and you've got, you only have a handful of some of doTERRA's oils, but I just want you to take just to look and see where, just where all of these oils are sourced. Okay, and some of these countries are very underdeveloped. And so doTERRA goes in there and seeks to better their lives, seeks to better the people as the people are getting paid for planting, for harvesting, for distilling these wonderful oils to us. Okay, so through the doTERRA Co-Impact Sourcing Initiative, doTERRA is so much more than just another oil company. Okay, it's not just oils. Okay, it's also people. It's also the product, and it's also the plant. So copaiba, wonderful, wonderful oil. Every time I think about copaiba, I think about my daughter-in-law who moved here from Brazil. This copaiba is from Brazil. And they do some wonderful, wonderful co-impact initiatives in that country. The Healing Hands Project for Nepal, okay, which is where we would get our wintergreen. And we can talk more about this. You can actually just Google these things and find out some of the awesome things that doTERRA is doing around the world. Here, Haiti. Haiti is known to be the poorest country in the world. And doTERRA comes on the scene and does some wonderful things in this country. And then they benefit us by providing vetiver, which is the field that these people are standing in. This is vetiver. And what you're seeing on top of the ground is not what's used. What's under the ground is what's used. Because vetiver, the root, is actually what we use. Or what about the co-impact story of my absolute favorite oil, ylang ylang, from Madagascar? They are doing some wonderful things in these countries. Now, speaking of ylang ylang, this is going to be my very first oil that I want to talk about today. Well, probably because it's my favorite. So every time I hear ylang ylang, I want to hear more about ylang ylang. But ylang ylang is a very wonderful oil. It could be taken aromatically, topically, and internally. And it is a wonderfully smelling and very, very helpful oil. It's very good for your hair. It's very good for your skin. Good for your nails. It calms you, it uplifts you. It's filled with antioxidants. It's a wonderful oil. Okay, now I can advance my screen. There we go. Ylang ylang. Now this is courtesy of Essential Oils and Me. I've got a couple of these. And some of the things that these oils do is just, it's beyond what we would even think that they would do. Uplifts the mood. Remember we were talking about the sense of smell or olfaction, right? And then what it does for us emotionally, right? You're feeling down, you're feeling sad. We all go through those things, right? What about surrounding yourself with some beautiful smells to uplift? And I'll tell you what, if anybody ever smells ylang ylang, there's no way you can be sad while you're smelling ylang ylang. I'm sorry, it's just the fact. Geranium. Now, geranium is a beautiful, beautiful oil. I actually have it diffusing behind me. I have the diffuser blend coming up in this slideshow. But geranium, beautiful smell. Again, you can take it aromatically, topically, and internally. Okay, very good for your digestion. It's a natural insect repellent. Now, isn't that wonderful that you don't have to put these harmful chemicals on your body to keep the mosquitoes at bay, right? You could put on something that smells as beautiful as geranium. What about rose? This is the one we talked about at the beginning. I could literally just smell roses all day long. It's very uplifting, but it's also very good for your skin. It's very good for relaxation. You can actually drink the essential oil, of course, 1 or 2 drops maybe. And then there's jasmine, which jasmine, I remember planting it, and the lady at the nursery, she told me, she said, jasmine is a plant that you plant right by your front door. And it's like, why? Why do you plant it right by? She said, because every time you walk in or you walk out, you get to smell the beautiful smell of jasmine. And she is right. Jasmine is a beautiful smell, right? Balances hormones, balances emotion, helps with dry skin, and it reduces occasional eye irritation. And that's one I don't know anything about. How would jasmine reduce your eye irritation? Well, I'll find out. And then, of course, there's lavender. Everybody knows about lavender. Lavender is all things calming, whether it's inside or out. You got a rash, you got a burn, you got, some tummy issues, you're dealing with seasonal allergies, doTERRA, lavender to the rescue. All right, so if you wanted to take some snapshots of these, this slideshow, or I'm sorry, this PowerPoint will also be uploaded to YouTube after I'm all done. But if you want to take some snapshots of some of these beautiful diffuser blends, here's a doTERRA hack. You have a bouquet of flowers, and you know how they always come with that little packet of that powder stuff? Well, what about just 1 drop of Melaleuca to your flower water to prolong the life? There's reasons behind that too, because it's antibacterial, right? And it's usually the bacteria that acts on the flowers that gets them to wilt and, die too quickly, right? So here's some flower power diffuser blends. You can take a snapshot if you would like. Fresh flowers. I mean, just thinking about lavender, jasmine, and ylang ylang is it just makes me happy just thinking about it. This is what I'm diffusing behind me. It's called Pretty Flowers, grapefruit, lavender, and geranium. And it smells wonderful. How about white roses, rose, jasmine, patchouli. All right, wanted to talk just a little bit about a couple of essential oils that I think you would love, and essential oils that are very versatile in many different ways. One would be clary sage. All right, clary sage is one that I keep in my shower. I put it on my hair. I put it on the bottom of my shower. It gives some beautiful smells. It's very good in the hair, very good for your scalp. But look at this. It's very good during your monthly cycle. Matter of fact, doTERRA came out with something called Clary Calm. And what it is it's a blend of clary sage and other essential oils that works very, very well for that time of the month and for the pain and the cramping that's associated with it. And here again, adding 3 or 4 drops to shampoo or conditioner to promote healthy looking hair and scalp. Roman chamomile is beautiful. Looks like little teeny tiny daisies, right? Again, can be used on the outside and on the inside. It's a calming effect on the skin, on the mind, and on the body. Very good for your immune system as well. Helichrysum. Apply topically to reduce the appearance of blemishes. You can use it for a full body type of massage. Very good for metabolism and improves the appearance of skin. Now, here's one thing that I use it for. I put 3 drops of helichrysum, 3 drops of cypress, and just a little bit of fractionated coconut oil, rub it together, and I rub it on I've got some spider veins and 1 varicose vein just from all the babies and things. And so it's very, very good for varicose veins as well as spider veins. So when you think about flowers, the earth smiles in flowers. If you were to think, how could the earth smile? It would be in flowers, right? Because flowers are just happy. They're just beautiful. And you can see why women love flowers, right? And if men want to make their women happy, they buy them flowers. All right, there's just a couple more things that I wanted to talk about before I went into lymphedema. These are just a couple of little do-it-yourselves, floral room spray. Take a snapshot of this if you would like. Serenity, geranium, incense. I mean, just thinking about these things is just, it brings a smile to your face, right? Let me go ahead and mute my daughter who just came on. Okay, so every time somebody enters the Zoom, everything just kind of like stops working properly. So like I can't advance my screen and all of that. Okay, all right, here we go. Lavender diffuser blends. Smells really, really good, even though I can't smell it, but I could just imagine it. Some more lavender diffuser blends, if you would like to take a snapshot of this. The reason why I put so many slideshows of diffuser blends is because I absolutely love diffuser blends. I just love, making different things and smelling different things. It's just so, I just love smelling nice things, right? I work from home, so I'm home all day, and I just like to be surrounded with things that are pretty and things that smell nice. Now, here's a little fun fact. Did you know that it takes around 30 pounds of lavender to make just one 15 ml bottle of doTERRA lavender essential oil? 30 pounds of lavender. Now look at this beautiful field of lavender. I mean, you could see that, there's a lot of lavender here. Well, we need a lot of lavender, right? So I'm going to end the smelling of the flowers segment here, but smelling flowers has been linked to uplifting the mood, soothing anxiety and depression, balancing hormones, lowering blood pressure, relieving headaches, slowing the rate of breath, and generally creating a sense of happiness and harmony. Now, just think about that. If you could just have flowers around you all day long, uplifting your mood, soothing the anxiety and depression, lowering your blood pressure, taking away headaches, slowing the rate of your breath, and being happy. Just imagine. We must take time to smell the flowers, right? Let's keep our flowers all around us, okay? And we're going to talk a little bit about how to get these beautiful smells into our home if we don't already have them in our home. I couldn't imagine one day without my diffuser, right? All right, but before we talk about that, I want to talk about the lymphatic system. I was looking for a picture that would explain it the best way, and so I put these, I wrote the lymphatic system along with this little image that I found on Google. And so this is your lymphatic system. Now, your lymphatic system literally, it runs along with the cardiovascular system. And that's why last week, when we were talking about the lymphatic system, I automatically am thinking cardiovascular and lymphatic. Why? Because they do go hand in hand. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that. And after saying it last week, I'm like, well, cardiovascular oils would be important for lymphatic. And I'm like, well, why am I thinking that way? And so the more that I learned about it, the more that I understand there is a very strong connection between our cardiovascular system and the lymphatic system, okay? So we want to talk just a little bit about lymphedema. What is lymphedema? Okay, it's something that if you don't suffer with lymphedema, you probably don't know what it is. Okay, so it's the swelling of the arms or the legs, sometimes both arms and legs, due to an accumulation of the lymph fluid, which causes swelling of the tissues. That's what's known as lymphedema. Okay, so I'm going to show some more diagrams of the lymphatic system, but just to understand that the lymphatic system, there's a connection between you can have a loose connection or you can have a tight junction between. And the lymphatic system is responsible for opening and closing to allow fluids into the, what we call the interstitial, right, which would be the tissues, okay? And if that junction is not tight, or if it's loose all the time, it's meant to open and close at different times, okay? Hence is where the swelling would come from. And not all swelling is bad, right? Some swelling is necessary and good. But when there's too much fluid coming out, that's what creates this lymphedema. So it's a condition whereby the capacity of the lymphatic system in collecting the fluid is severely reduced, and the fluid remains in the tissues, which result in the swelling of the affected organ. Okay, so this is our lymphatic system here. Okay, you see what we're talking about. We were talking about the, you know, the valves and things like that. And so you've got the overlapping of the endothelial. They open and they get smaller and they get larger. And the more that they open, the more the fluid can go out into the interstitial tissue. Okay, now the whole purpose is that there's supposed to be a constant flow. Okay, and you've got, oftentimes people have problems in their lymphatic system, maybe when they've had, it could be cancer, and they had to remove some of the lymphatic, some of the nodes. And so it's a, you know, it's very, very important, but it runs head to toe. But there are some areas where we have more of lymphatic structures than others. Okay, and let's see if I can advance this again. Somebody just entered into the Zoom. You know what? I must have deleted that slide because I had just too many slides on the lymphatic system. But anyway, let me see. Okay, so here, this would be the best way. So each of these are the little nodes. Now, oftentimes, if you get like maybe a woman who has breast cancer, they might remove some of the axillary nodes. Okay, and so each of these nodes is very, very important in our immune system. Okay, so that's why a lot of times when maybe you're dealing with maybe a cold or something, your lymph nodes would be swollen. Okay, lymph nodes, part of your lymphatic system. Okay, you can have lymph nodes swollen underneath your arms. Matter of fact, when I was a young girl, I had it was a disease called cat scratch fever, and all of my glands underneath my arms, all of these axillary nodes were all swollen all underneath, and it was because of the fact that, you know, we bred cats when I was younger, and I got a scratch from a cat, and some type of a bacteria or virus got in there and created what's called cat scratch fever. But anyway, so again, here are some essential oils. You could take a snapshot of this. I'm not going to focus on these oils though. And the reason that I'm not going to focus on these, because what I want to focus on is something that I think is what we need to focus on first. Okay, so these oils are good. These oils are very important. But these oils are not all of, what I want to talk about, okay? I want to talk more about some other oils, okay? And I want to talk about turmeric, as well as a few others, okay? Now I want to talk about turmeric because it's very, very powerful, okay? It's an antibiotic, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory. It removes all the harmful free radicals from the body, and it gives a tremendous boost to the immune system. Okay, it also helps in drying out the accumulated fluid and reduces the swelling and pain. Now, very interesting. Okay, so doTERRA sells turmeric oil, turmeric dual chamber capsules, but I'm going to talk about another product. Now there's also ginger, very effective in reducing the swelling and inflammation. It abounds in antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, which are very useful in lymphedema. It also heals the damaged lymph nodes and restores their function. Okay, now here's one way that you can do it, taking a big piece of fresh ginger, grate it, add it to a cup of boiling water, steep it for 10 minutes, strain the infusion, and drink it 3 times daily. But you could also get the same benefits in ginger essential oil. But there's another way that you're going to be able to get the ginger. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Flaxseed for lymphedema. They have great anti-inflammatory properties, which reduce the swelling within no time. They're also rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are superb antioxidants and which detoxify the body by removing all the harmful substances from it. They also help the immune system to function properly, enable the body to ward off infections. And so here's a way: eat 2 tablespoons of flax seeds with your cereal every day. But there's another way you can get flaxseed, and it's called VE Omega. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Fish oil for lymphedema. Now, besides being rich in omega-3 fatty acids and other valuable nutrients, is also rich in anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It brings quick relief in the swelling and removes the stiffness from the wrists and the ankles. Its antioxidant properties detoxify the body and enable it to combat infections. Take 1 teaspoon of fish oil twice daily, or you can take 2 capsules of fish oil every night before going to bed. We're going to talk about XE Omega from doTERRA in just a few minutes. And last but not least, green tea for lymphedema. Now, everybody's heard of green tea, right? A couple of years ago, there was a big green tea craze. I tried green tea a couple of times, and I don't know what it is. I don't care for the taste of green tea. But I still need to get it. And I still do get it every single day. And we're going to talk about how in just a minute. Green tea is famous worldwide for its miraculous healing and curative powers. It's full of powerful antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties, which cure a vast number of diseases and disorders. It detoxifies the body by removing all the harmful toxins and impurities, and it also reduces the swelling very quickly. Regular use will soon bring your limbs back to their normal size, and the tightness will vanish. And here's a way that you can use it. Bring a cup of water, steep with a teaspoon of green tea for 10 minutes, strain it, add some honey, drink it 3 times a day. But there's also another way to get it. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. I'm so thankful for the question that Cynthia asked last week, because what it did was it reaffirmed what I have in my possession and that I've been taking for several years now, every single day. And it's called Lifelong Vitality. Okay. All of those 5 top anti-inflammatory, antioxidant that is very beneficial for lymphedema are not only good for lymphedema, they're good for many other disease processes. I've been taking those for several years, and I want to talk about those right now. Okay. Now, I want to talk about, I'm going to skip all the way down to the bottom because we're going to talk about some of those other things here in just a minute. But I want to talk about this daily ORAC value of over 5,900. So what does that mean? What does an ORAC value mean? And what does it mean when it says 12 servings of fruits and vegetables per day? I think I missed a slide here, but that's fine. What it is, it's an antioxidant valuation, okay? And the valuation of 5,900 is very, very high, okay? Some of the, matter of fact, clove oil, which is in here, is one of the highest ranked. I think it's actually the highest antioxidant on planet Earth. pretty interesting actually. But this ORAC value is very, very important, okay? And so it's equal to the ORAC value, it's equal to the same that you would get from 12 servings of fruits and vegetables every single day. Okay, so I want to talk just a little bit more about this, these XEO, this lifelong vitality. So the omega-3s, it's here we go, and this is what I was talking about with the clove oil. The ultimate omega-3 fatty acid for heart and brain with 9 essential oils, including clove, which is the world's #1 antioxidant. Its formula delivers 340 milligrams EPA and 240 milligrams of DHA. Now, if anybody has ever done any studies on EPA and DHA, they are very important for longevity. EPA and DHA. We are taking it, those of us who are taking this lifelong vitality. So, supports healthy cardiovascular, immune, joint, and brain health. The Microplex VMZ, it's a whole food formula of bioavailable vitamins and minerals. Bioavailable is very, very important because what that means is that we can readily absorb and process these vitamins and minerals, okay? So it's very, very important when you talk about metabolism. It also includes a patented enzyme delivery system. Okay, now oftentimes we are enzyme deficient. Okay, enzymes are usually found in fruits and vegetables, and we're not getting enough of them. So we need enzymes in our diet. And then there's the alpha CRX, and we're going to talk in depth about the alpha CRX here. Alpha CRX, otherwise known as the cellular longevity blend. It's got Boswellia serrata, which is frankincense, biocalin, milk thistle, resveratrol, green tea leaf. Remember, we were just talking about the green tea, pomegranate, pineapple, which is very, very high in anti-inflammatory properties, turmeric, which we were just talking about it, grape seed, sesame seed, and pine bark. That is in just one of these supplements, the Alpha CRX. This is an incredible product, okay? And so anybody, whether you have lymphedema, whether you have high blood pressure, whether you have diabetes, or whether you have none of those and just want to stay healthy and live longer, this is definitely a product that you should be taking. Then there's also the VE Omega, okay? Now, there's XE Omega and there's VE Omega. This is a vegetarian omega-3, okay? And so this is where the flaxseed is going to come in, okay? Just very, very important to understand that, you know, doTERRA, like I say, they cover all of our bases. They're giving us the best of the best. So we don't have to worry about, you know, what other supplements we need to take. Okay, so here's the XE Omega. This is marine and plant-based omega-3s. Okay, the one prior to this one is a VE Omega, and it's a vegan, which has got your flaxseed. Okay, so XE Omega and the VE Omega. And then there's the Microplex VMZ, which is 22 vitamins and minerals, supports healthy bone, brain, and immune system function. It's an incredible product, okay? Now, I don't want to go into these too much. Oh, here's my ORAC. I must have put this slide too far down. So again, this is what we were talking about with the high value of the ORAC. I knew I had it somewhere. Oxygen radical absorbance capacity. And it's just basically the USDA recommends an ORAC unit ingestion of about 3,000 to 5,000. doTERRA gives you over 5,000 daily. Okay, so it definitely gives us, taken together, all three supplements provide the antioxidant capacity of 12 or more servings of fruits and vegetables. That's pretty big. That's a high amount. Okay, that's why these supplements taken together are just so superior. Okay, they represent a unique dietary supplement foundation of powerful ingredients present in potent levels and offer it at a compelling price point. Okay, so it's just very, very good, very, very valuable. This is the Healthy Habits Kit where you're going to get all three of those, as well as your Terrazyme, your PB Assist, essential oils, the Deep Blue Rub. This is a brand new kit. I just had to put it out there because this nutrition line is just unbelievably valuable. I've been taking them. Matter of fact, the fiber, I take that probably more than I take the others. But the greens and the protein, love the protein. This chocolate protein is awesome. All right. This is the Healthy Essentials Kit. It's got 10 popular oils, 15 ml size, a nice size diffuser, wonderful kit. This is the Healthy Start Kit, 10 of your foundation oils, smaller in size and also less expensive. And it gives that cute little diffuser there. So I'm going to end this presentation with always take time to smell the flowers, and doTERRA's essential oils help you to do that. I know I went over today, but I know it was because we got a late start, due to the technical difficulties. So I am going to stop my share. I am going to stop my recording. If I can